Hey everyone, have you ever played a game that made you completely lose track of time? Like, you sit down thinking, alright, I'll play for a couple of hours and then go to bed, and next thing you know, the sun's coming through your window and it's literally too late to sleep because you've got work or class in just a few hours. If that hits close to home, tell me, what game absolutely devoured your time? As for me, I've put together my own list of those time killers. Let's get into it and enjoy the ride. GTA 5, a legendary sequel in an iconic franchise. This game gave me hope that gaming was still alive and evolving. GTA 5 is one of those games you can spend 300 hours in and still not get bored. You keep coming back again and again. The atmosphere? Incredible. The characters? Memorable. The story? Rich. And on top of that, UFOs, whales, you name it. This isn't just a game you beat, it's one you endlessly enjoy. At least until Part 6 finally drops. This was the kind of game I'd been waiting for, the kind that grabs you and won't let go. Something you can play for days, never once regretting the time spent. The landscapes, the animals, the vibes, it's all unforgettable. Coming home from work and diving back into Los Santos? Pure comfort. The visuals? Still top tier even in 2025. And honestly, even on lower settings, look, it still looks great. But crank it to ultra, throw in some mods, and you've got yourself a visual masterpiece. And the optimization? Shockingly good. Haven't seen that level of polish in new games in a while. Feels like this one was made for the players, not just for profit. GTA 5 isn't just a game, it's something more. No other game has created a world this alive, this immersive. It has everything, and honestly, what more can I even say? It's a classic. A true 10 out of 10. And let's be real, is there anyone who hasn't played GTA 5 at least once? Didn't think so. Resident Evil 4 Remake. You know guys, when they remade the cult classic Resident Evil 4, I was skeptical about it. I thought, why mess with a classic? But damn how wrong I was. This game literally glued me to the screen for several days. You tell yourself, just one more save and then sleep. And then bam! It's already dawn outside and you're still playing through another tense scene. The Resident Evil 4 remake is a perfect example of how to reimagine a classic. They preserved everything we loved about the original. The atmosphere of the creepy Spanish village, charismatic villains, cool Leon Kennedy, but at the same time modernized the gameplay and graphics so that the game feels absolutely fresh. And those bosses. Each encounter with them is an event, especially the battle with Krauser or of course with the giant El Gigante. Adrenaline goes through the roof, your hands sweat and your heart beats like crazy. And this system of parrying and dodging is simply a masterpiece, adding a new level of tactics to the fights. The script and dialogues deserve special mention. These simultaneously tense and amusing moments with Luis, the charismatic Salazar, the creepy Castellan Mendez. All this creates such an atmosphere that you simply can't stop playing. And when you reach the castle or laboratory, you realize that the game continues to surprise with new locations and enemies. But especially enjoyable is the chemistry between Leon and Ashley, which, if I'm not mistaken, was rather irritating in the original, but in the remake actually makes you want to listen to every line. The graphics in the remake are top-notch. These detailed textures, realistic character models, amazing lighting and effects. All this creates an incredibly convincing world that you immerse yourself in completely. I played through this game several times in a row, unlocking new costumes, weapons, trying to beat my records. And each playthrough is a new experience. Without a doubt, it's a 10 out of 10. A game that draws you in so much that you simply lose track of time. Red Dead Redemption 2. Now this was a masterpiece. You might think, come on man, every game on this list is your favorite. And honestly, you're not wrong. There's no ranking here. Each of these games is special to me. I've watched the sunrise with all of them. I've lived entire lives inside them. And when life was tough, these games helped me escape, helped me reset, helped me heal. Now I tried to find flaws in Red Dead Redemption 2. I really did. Sure, maybe there are a few bugs. The intro's kind of slow, I'll give you that. But once you're in, it's pure magic. The story, the graphics, the physics, the world building, it's all on another level. Hunting, fishing, the tiniest details, it's just too much to list. You don't play Red Dead Redemption 2, you live it. You grow so attached to the characters that by the end, well, let's just say, the tears come whether you want them to or not. So here's my advice. Don't rush it. Do the side missions. Take your time. Trust me, the emotional payoff is huge, and whatever you do, don't judge it by the first chapter. Yes, it's slow. Yes, I almost gave up too. But once it clicks, there's no going back. Just like with The Witcher 3. I wish I could erase my memory, just to start again in those snowy mountains, in quiet little Valentine. This game is, without exaggeration, a masterpiece. Stalker 2 and Stalker Gamma. Not far from post-apocalypse, which the community supports through mods more than 10 years later, is the game Stalker, which recently received its long-awaited sequel. When the second part finally came out after so many years of waiting, I literally dropped out of reality for weeks. To give you an idea, I took vacation specifically for this game, and didn't regret it one bit. The atmosphere of the new zone simply boggles the imagination. These incredible anomalies, creepy mutants, dangerous factions, and mysterious artifacts, all now in stunning modern graphics, which literally makes you forget that you're just playing a game. The sounds of rain, creaking trees, distant howls of mutants, all this creates such immersion that I probably haven't experienced in any other game. The plot worthily continues the traditions of the series, making you unravel the mysteries of the zone, make difficult decisions, and survive in this harsh world where each day could be your last. And these dialogues, these characters, each with their own history, motivation, each one memorable and doesn't seem like just an extra. But you know what, guys? If you've already completed Stalker 2 and want more, or maybe are waiting until you save up for a new computer for the second part, there's something amazing that can quench your thirst for the zone. I'm talking about Stalker Gamma. You won't believe it, but this is a mod for good old Shadow of Chernobyl, which transforms it into something incredible, standing on the same level as the modern sequel. Gamma isn't just a mod, it's a whole collection of modifications that completely transforms the game, making it not only more beautiful, but also significantly more hardcore. In Gamma, all systems have been completely reworked, from economy and trade to ballistics and artificial intelligence. Here, every bullet counts, every medkit is a treasure, any encounter with a mutant could be your last. And you know what? It's incredibly addictive. The main thing is to endure the first few hours as a rookie with basic loot and find decent weapons. The atmosphere of Gamma is so dense that you literally feel the radiation and danger around you. Survival becomes a real test. You need to monitor your nutrition, sleep, weapon condition, find shelter during anomalous emissions. And each small victory, each successful day in the zone brings real satisfaction. Speaking of visuals, Gamma with modern textures, lighting, and weather effects looks as if the game came out a couple of years ago, not in 2007. And the sound design makes your hair stand on end from tension. In short, if you've already enjoyed Stalker 2 and want to continue your journey through the zone, or just looking for a truly hardcore survival experience, Gamma definitely deserves your attention. Elden Ring. The most ambitious game ever made by From Software, combining everything the studio learned from Souls, Bloodborne, and Sekiro, but pushing every single element to a whole new level. If you're one of those folks who rolls their eyes at 10 out of 10 reviews, well, this time, they're kinda right. Sure, no game is perfect, but Elden Ring comes unbelievably close. It borrows familiar animations, sound effects, even a few enemies and characters. And hey, maybe that's a good thing, maybe not. Up to you to decide. But one thing is crystal clear. The visual design in this game, it's the absolute star of the show. And I'm not talking about raw graphics or next-gen effects. I'm talking about art direction, world design, atmosphere. Even the more plain-looking zones, like the Weeping Peninsula or the Graveyard, feel rich with mood and mystery thanks to the music and ambiance. It's a massive world, full of secrets and surprises, where you can spend dozens of hours and still never reach the first story boss. And when you do put in hundreds of hours, you'll still want to come back, just to relive those epic fights, soak in the mesmerizing landscapes, and once again, touch a true work of art. Days Gone. I want to remember this game in light of the remaster release, which prompted me to return and recall how many nights I spent riding through post-apocalyptic Oregon on my bike. You think to yourself, I'll play for an hour before bed, and then bam, it's already dawn outside and you're still clearing another freaker nest or completing a mission for a camp. In Days Gone, you play as Deacon Saint, John, a biker who lost his wife at the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. And you know what, guys? This character is so alive and charismatic that you can't help but empathize with his story. The open-world atmosphere is simply captivating. These beautiful landscapes of the American Northwest, abandoned towns, dense forests. Everything looks amazing even now. And the hordes of zombies, they're something else. When you first see a crowd of hundreds of freakers rushing toward you, you literally get goosebumps. Your heart starts racing, adrenaline spikes, and you frantically look for somewhere to escape or set up an ambush. Now, that's what I call emotions. I want to specifically mention the bike. A true work of art. Customization, upgrades, constant concern about fuel and condition. You literally become attached to your iron horse. And these rides through beautiful locations with an excellent soundtrack, simply indescribable feelings. Yes, the game had technical problems at release, but now it's a polished product. The plot draws you in completely, the characters are memorable, and some moments in the story leave you sitting in shock, not believing what's happening. I'll say this, if you haven't played Days Gone yet, fix this mistake immediately. It's one of those games you want to return to again and again, like even after completing the main story. Just hop on your bike and ride through this dangerous but incredibly atmospheric world. A solid 9 out of 10. And I'd even say it's one of the most underrated games of recent years, which undeservedly isn't getting a sequel. Hogwarts Legacy. On the one hand, it's your typical open world. But on the other, it's packed with so much fan service, I can't help but giggle like a little kid every time. You can walk into Honeydukes and eat way too much candy and down a butterbeer. Fly around on a broom or a hippogriff, though maybe not after that butterbeer. Learn spells, brew potions, grow herbs in the Room of Requirement, tame magical creatures, explore a giant castle filled with secrets, even venture into the Forbidden Forest and kick some hairy spider butts. There are so many connections to the books, the movies, even past games, and clearly it was all made by people who actually love the wizarding world. The main story? Genuinely engaging from start to finish. The game is absolutely packed with activities. Beyond Hogwarts itself, there's Hogsmeade, and a whole open world surrounding it. And I just have to say, massive applause for the customization. Everything. And I mean everything is customizable, especially the transmog system for clothing, letting you stay both strong and stylish without looking like a total mess in mismatched gear. I don't know what we did to deserve this gift as Potterheads, but thank you, Avalanche Software. Here's hoping strong sales mean even more content in the future. If you haven't played it yet, and you are a Harry Potter fan, I mean seriously, what are you waiting for? And even if you're just into open world games in general, give it a try. Who knows, it might just click with you. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. And we'll end today with a Nintendo exclusive. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, which, thanks to emulators, can be played anywhere. The game offers an incredible hundreds of hours of gameplay. There's so much content that there's a very real risk of dropping out of real life completely. The main storyline, boss battles, dungeon exploration, and crafting the most unimaginable mechanisms. So bizarre that compilations of such creations made by players gather millions of views on YouTube. The boundless open world divided into 3 levels, hiding numerous secrets and adventures, is just a small part of the available content. Besides this, the game provides many unique mechanics, based on which it allows you to solve most game tasks creatively and in very non-standard ways. Zelda immerses you from the first minutes, and there's always something to do. Plus, it's a technological masterpiece that somehow fits and works perfectly on Nintendo's not-so-powerful portable console. Strongly recommended for playthrough, the game will captivate you for a long time. Even if you're not a fan of such cartoon-style games, believe me, just give the game a chance. You'll thank me later. Skyrim. There's a special kind of game that can't really be judged by regular standards. You don't look at them with checklists and charts. These games, you feel them. Skyrim is one of those. A legendary experience with an insanely detailed open world, soaked in Nordic atmosphere, massive exploration, and what I'd call infinite replay value. The snowy peaks, the foggy valleys, the Dwemer ruins, the ancient Nord tombs, the cozy villages, and totally distinct cities. All of it feels alive. I often found myself just stopping, doing nothing, just to admire the scenery. Skyrim is like stepping into a living fairy tale and wanting to stay there. It gives you total freedom, hundreds of quests, thousands of adventures. There's something sacred here, a kind of soul that most modern games just don't have anymore. And that soul, that's what makes Skyrim eternal. It's a cultural phenomenon that shaped the industry, and it's still going strong even in 2024. Ghost of Tsushima. And if you prefer something lighter but still in Japanese style, Ghost of Tsushima is your choice. This masterpiece from Sucker Punch transports us to feudal Japan during the Mongol invasion, and does it so well that you literally feel like a samurai. The combat system in the game is simply a work of art. The stances, parries, dodges, everything is so smooth and organic that each battle turns into a true cinematic spectacle. And when you masterfully dispose of a group of enemies using all the techniques you've learned, it brings such satisfaction that words can't describe. But the most important thing is the atmosphere, guys. These endless fields with swaying grass, autumn forest with falling red leaves, mountain temples in the mist, everything looks so picturesque that I constantly stop just to admire the landscape and take a screenshot. And when you play in Kurosawa mode with the black and white filter and film grain, you feel like a hero in a classic samurai film. The story of Jin Sakai, a samurai forced to abandon his code of honor to save his people, grips you so much that it's impossible to tear yourself away. The characters are written so deeply that you sincerely empathize with their fates. And the ending. Guys, I literally had tears in my eyes. If you haven't played Ghost of Tsushima yet, immediately correct this mistake. It's definitely one of the best games of its generation. A true 10 out of 10. A game that will make you forget about sleep, food, everything in the world. That's how much it draws you into its world and gameplay. Cyberpunk 2077. This game taught me one thing. Sleep is for the weak. Yeah, it launched with bugs and rough spots. But to me, it's still an absolute masterpiece. It's totally unique. Filled with jaw-dropping attention to detail, and it delivers an emotional punch in that signature CD Projekt Red style. You know how they say sometimes the world of a story becomes its own character? Well, Night City is exactly that. More than just a setting. It tells a deeper story that runs beneath the surface. The atmosphere, the art direction, it's on another level. Honestly, I'd call this a revolutionary piece of work, on par with something Hideo Kojima might dream up. Unfortunately, the development hell, the missing content, and the technical issues at launch stopped it from shining the way it deserved. But man, I'm just so glad that after 3 long years of patches and updates, Cyberpunk finally got the love it always deserved. And yeah, maybe some of the characters we fell in love with didn't get their happy endings. But the game, it did. And that, my friends, is beautiful. DayZ. Guys, if you're looking for a game that will make you forget about sleep, food, and real life in general, DayZ is definitely for you. Seriously, many of my friends genuinely call it a life simulator, just with zombies as neighbors. DayZ isn't just a game, it's an entire survival experience that's simply impossible to describe until you try it yourself. Imagine, you wake up on the shore of a post-Soviet country called Chernobyl. You have nothing but a t-shirt and jeans, zombies are all around, and every player you meet can either help you or shoot you without hesitation for a can of beans. And here the real adventure begins. Searching for food, water, weapons, medicine. It all turns into a real quest. You comb through every house, every barn, constantly looking around and listening. And when you hear gunshots or footsteps in the distance, your heart starts beating like crazy. The adrenaline level is simply off the charts, especially when you've already collected good loot and are afraid of losing everything. What makes DayZ truly special is the social interaction. Meeting another player is always an event. You never know what will happen. They might shoot you without warning, might try to talk, offer an exchange, or even invite you to join their group. And these unexpected encounters create stories that you'll remember for a long time. I found several new friends this way, and when you plan a raid on some base together and everything falls apart because of another group, or a random zombie, it creates such emotions that no movie can compare. The graphics in the game might seem outdated, but the atmosphere doesn't suffer at all. The huge map with forests, fields, cities, and military objects creates a feeling of a real post-apocalyptic world. DayZ isn't just a game, it's an entire world with its own rules and stories. It's a game where you can wander for hours without meeting a soul, and then in 5 minutes experience so much adrenaline that you won't get in any shooter. If you haven't played it yet, definitely try it. Just don't blame me later for sleepless nights and being late for work. It's definitely that game with which you'll meet more than one dawn, and each time you'll come back for a new portion of unique situations and emotions. Kingdom Come Deliverance. Remember that feeling as a kid, rushing home after school to play your favorite game? Well, this game brought that feeling back. Except now I was rushing home from work. Didn't want to do anything else, just wanted to load up Kingdom Come and dive back in. I'd plan out which quest I'd tackle, which village I'd visit, which forest paths I'd explore, just to wander through those gorgeous alive woods. This is one of the very few games where I genuinely enjoyed just walking around. Kingdom Come is a beautiful and, in my opinion, seriously underrated gem. Especially for a first game by the studio, it beat out a lot of well-known medieval sims. The gameplay, packed with positives, like unique mechanics, top-tier quests, impactful dialogue choices, deep progression, and a setting that mixes history with realism. If you can push through the brutal opening hours, trust me, I got wrecked by a drunk dude in my village over and over. It opens up into an unforgettable adventure with hundreds of hours of gameplay. And by the end, I just didn't want to leave. Even though I'd done all the quests, finished the story, I still wanted to stay. This, my friends, is how you make a proper old-school RPG. Easily a 10 out of 10, and if one day the videos stop coming out on this channel, you'll know where to find me. In the sequel, Bloodborne. This largely depends, of course, on how good you are at Souls-like games. I mean, if you're a master or speedrunner, obviously you'll complete the game faster, that's understandable. But considering the difficulty of Bloodborne plus the Old Hunters DLC, you'll spend a lot of time with this game. Because the main game is incredibly long and challenging. A complete playthrough of the main game takes at least 70 hours. And again, depending on how you play Souls-like games. Then you'll have the Old Hunters DLC playthrough, which will take plenty of your time. You'll spend especially long completing the Chalice dungeons. There are players who still spend tons of time there. And if the game hooks you, you'll spend many hours with it, as was the case for me. Additionally, according to most Souls-like fans, Bloodborne is still considered one of the best in the genre. And, you know, I understand people who still dream that this game will be officially released on PC. However, even without this, fans recently managed to get it running on an emulator, which is also a big event. It still needs optimization though. Because there are really issues with the FPS, it's very low by current standards. So yes, I understand these people. Because damn, there's no other game like it. I personally also comfort myself with the hope that From Software will make a remake, as is common nowadays. And finally, I'll be able to play this masterpiece with maximum comfortable FPS. But in all other aspects, the art style, boss designs, the mood, atmosphere, nothing can compare to Bloodborne. Maybe it only seems like a masterpiece to me, I don't know. Write in the comments, by the way, if you like Bloodborne. But I couldn't help but mention this masterpiece. Devil May Cry. My friends, Devil May Cry is that series of games that kept me up at night trying to get the coveted S rank in every mission. And this applies to several parts at once, including DMC, which original fans don't like. Although in my opinion it's more casual and therefore better suited for beginners, though the hero could use a hair color change. Thankfully, there are separate mods for that. Yes, the fans did it first. What makes Devil May Cry so special? Everything. This crazy overflowing energy of the combat system, where you literally dance among enemies, switching between weapons, using special abilities, and performing wild combos. When you finally master all the mechanics and start creating your own combinations, scattering demons across the arena to energetic music, It's such a thrill that words can't describe. And what characters there are. Charismatic Dante with his witty comments at the most inappropriate moments. Mysterious Virgil. Beautiful Trish. Crazy Nero. They're all so memorable that they become almost like family. And the plot, though a bit crazy and sometimes confusing, is presented with such style and courage that you can't help but be drawn in. The level and boss design deserves special praise. These incredibly creative demons you have to fight, each with their unique mechanics and phases, make you use all your skills and reflexes. And when you finally overcome a particularly difficult boss, that feeling of triumph is priceless. The graphics in the latest installments are simply stunning. These detailed models, smooth animations, cool effects from using abilities, all this creates an incredibly stylish picture that's impossible to look away from. If you haven't touched this legendary series yet, urgently correct this oversight. Devil May Cry is a game that doesn't just draw you in, it causes a real addiction. You'll return to it again and again to experience, once more, that unique delight from perfect combo execution. Though everyone has their favorite part of this series, so I suggest writing its name in the comments. Baldur's Gate 3. Best game of 2023. Honestly, I could end this segment right there. But let's go deeper. Every gamer, and I mean every gamer, should experience this one firsthand. My first playthrough? 190 hours, and every single moment unforgettable. When I reached those final quests, and the credits rolled with that beautiful score playing, I felt this quiet emptiness and a slowly growing sadness. My journey was finally over. I lived through so many emotions with this game. Joy, sorrow, awe, uncertainty, wonder, all at once. I wasn't just playing. I was living inside this world, and I didn't want to leave. Now, I'm not even going to get into the gameplay or RPG mechanics, because honestly, there's so much variation and depth that it's hard to even describe how much time and love the devs poured into it. Lately, I've been catching myself thinking, is this my favorite game of all time? I've played and loved so many franchises, ones I'd replay 100 times without hesitation. But whenever I go back to Baldur's Gate 3, something inside me says, yeah, maybe this is my favorite. At least for 2023, and honestly even now. Highly recommended. No, strongly recommended. Even if you're not into Dungeons and Dragons, and I wasn't until this game, just try it. Trust me. You'll thank me later. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Let me put it simply. This is the game of the decade. The story pulls you deep into the world of The Witcher, where every character feels unique, where every conversation is engaging, and where you actually care about the people you meet, even if it's someone you just ran into on the road. The graphics? Still great, especially after the next-gen update. Even in 2025, look, it looks stunning. It still blows my mind that this game came out almost 10 years ago. Like, how did this drop in 2015? The quests, Gwent, Witcher contracts. The game never lets you feel bored for even a second. And the DLCs? Easily just as good as the base game? They feel like proper expansions to the story. Ah, Toussaint. That magical landscape, those fairy tale vibes, and your choices? They matter. Tons of different endings. All unique. Honestly, I'm still shocked that some people skip this masterpiece. I just don't get it. If you haven't played it, I mean, what are you doing? Go buy it. It's dirt cheap now. Play it. Spend your time on it. You'll thank me later. It's one of those rare games where you wish you could wipe your memory, just to play it again from the beginning. Like I said, game of the decade. Metro Exodus. This is the game that made me fall in love with the Metro series. Don't get me wrong, Metro 2033 and Last Light were solid. But Exodus, that's where it all clicked for me. Even with its small flaws, it impressed me on every level. The story, the dialogue, the detail in the world, the gameplay, everything came together. After the final cutscene, I didn't feel tired or done. I felt happy. Like I just finished something truly special. You could tell the writing wasn't slapped together in a few days. It was thoughtful, refined, and well-crafted. No surprise, really, since the original book's author worked on it. I actually felt a little sad when it ended. I still wanted to explore, loot, upgrade weapons, gear up for more fights. And yeah, this was just my first playthrough. I'll definitely revisit it again, probably more than once. Fallout 4. Since this is the second such video, many games were suggested by you under the previous clip. And, you know, guys, many in the comments recommended Fallout 4, and it's really a good game. But as an older gamer, I prefer New Vegas, since I first got acquainted with this series from that part. And it was love at first launch. I can't count how many sleepless nights I spent wandering the Mojave, completing quests for NCR or Caesar's Legion, deciding the fate of these post-apocalyptic lands. Fallout New Vegas is a real masterpiece of a role-playing game, where your decisions really matter. And so even after completing the game once, you can start a new playthrough choosing different dialogue options, different solutions in the same situations, or just go explore the wasteland for side quests that make this dead world come alive. As strange as that sounds, you might say that the graphics are outdated, but guys, who cares about that when the game world is so alive and the characters are written so well that you sincerely empathize with their stories? Besides, there are plenty of graphic mods available. And what DLCs? Dead Money with its grim atmosphere, Honest Hearts with incredible landscapes, philosophical old world blues, and epic finale in Lonesome Road. Each add-on is a self-contained story that adds depth to the main plot, and time that gets lost in completing them. I've played through New Vegas at least 5 times, and each time I discovered something new. Many praise Fallout 4 for crafting and settlement building, and yes, it has its advantages, better graphics. But New Vegas, friends, New Vegas has soul. This game makes you think, empathize, make difficult decisions. Every choice has consequences. Every character is memorable. If by some miracle you still haven't played Fallout New Vegas, urgently correct this mistake, especially if you love good stories and real RPGs. Yes, the graphics aren't the most modern, but believe me, after a couple of hours you'll stop noticing it. Completely immersed in the atmosphere of the Mojave. It's no wonder that even after so many years, the fan community is still active. Thousands of mods have been created, and debates about the best part of the series never die down. And, you know, for me, this debate has long been resolved. New Vegas will forever be in my heart as a game with which I met countless dawns. An unconditional 10 out of 10. A true genre classic. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. This isn't just a game, it's a real test of your endurance, patience, and reaction time. I remember sitting down to play thinking, well, I'll kill a couple of bosses and go to sleep, and ended up greeting the dawn with a controller in hand, trying for the 100th time to defeat another difficult boss. You know, this game from Software differs from their previous projects. While in Dark Souls or Bloodborne, you could choose your play style and level up certain characteristics. Here, you have to play by the game's rules. And this challenge, friends, is so captivating that you simply lose track of time. The combat system in Sekiro is simply magnificent. These perfectly calibrated parries, counterattacks, dodges, all this creates the feeling of a real sword duel. When you finally understand the rhythm of combat and begin to dance with your opponent in a deadly dance, you experience such pleasure that you rarely find in other games. The atmosphere of feudal Japan simply amazes with its authenticity and beauty. These mountain temples, lost villages, castles, and fortresses, everything is created with such attention to detail that sometimes you just stop to admire the sunset over Ashina. And you know what, guys? Despite the fact that the game came out several years ago, it visually looks amazing even now. But what gives it special charm are the bosses. I could fight some of them for hours, dying and returning again and again, but not feeling irritation, only excitement and desire to get better. And when you finally defeat a particularly difficult opponent, the euphoria is off the charts. The plot here is also top-notch, as befits games from this studio. It doesn't get in your face, but it's deep and interesting enough if you're willing to dig into the details and listen carefully to the dialogues. These intertwining fates, ancient legends, and tragic character stories create a truly memorable narrative. Yes, Sekiro is difficult, very difficult, but each death is a lesson. You gradually get better, and the game rewards you not just with new abilities, but with a sense of true mastery. Though before that, your neighbors will have to get used to your shouts of joy at 4 a.m. when you finally defeat Ishin, the Sword Saint. This game is definitely one where you'll meet more than one Dawn and you won't regret it for a second, but only if you love hardcore games.